A login form is easy, but then you need user sessions, OAuth redirects, database migrations, account linking, a passwordless login, and a login screen that does not confuse returning users. And suddenly, auth is not one feature anymore, it is 10 tiny systems that are pretending to be one feature. So in this video, I want to show you a cleaner way to add auth to your existing application without stitching together a bunch of random tools. We're going to build an entire auth flow that's going to allow sign in and sign up using classical email and password, as well as adding OAuth providers like login with Google or login with GitHub, and my favorite feature, login with Passkeys. Oh yeah, and to give your users the best experience is by allowing them to see their last used login method like shown in here. We will also link our auth flow with our Stripe dashboard so subscriber users are in sync with our database. So when you try to roll your own custom authentication system, every feature becomes a separate mini project. You have to worry about user sessions, callback, users tables, OAuth redirect, Stripe customer ID and linking it with your Stripe dashboard and APIs, Stripe subscriptions and all of that. And also, you have to make sure the login interface does not confuse the end users and it has all the features they want. So instead of rolling all of this by yourself, you can use the better-auth library with this very simple configuration like the auth TypeScript, the auth client, and your Drizzle or database configuration, all going to be working together in harmony, easily configure and set up the entire authentication flow. And yes, it has so many plugins that you can easily install and set up that allows you to do stuff like passkeys or the last used login method. Getting started with better-auth is super simple. You can either use the CLI in here for an existing or a new project, or set up that using a prompt inside of your coding agent. There are skills and MCP included as well. So you can simply run npx skills add better-auth skills right inside of your terminal to add the skills to your favorite coding agents. Then you can just easily ask it to implement the auth flow for you using the right context. And inside of your coding agent, you can just simply search for the better-auth best practices, use that skill, and start building right away. Now, the main part of the authentication is your configuration that lives right inside of the auth.typescript file. This will act as the core and the main configuration for the entire better-auth, from plugins to the core email and password that we already have in here and to everything else. And this is what I really like about this setup, that instead of scattering the configurations and the auth setup through different random files, you've got it in a single place and you can easily maintain it and know exactly what's happening on the flow. For enabling email and password, you simply pass email and password in here and make sure it is enabled, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And better-auth in here will handle everything from you, from security to logging in to authorization and cookies. Now, the config exists, but the browser still needs an endpoint to talk to. In this Next.js application, we create a tiny catch-all route inside of API auth /3 dots all in here for the catch-all route, and we put our route.typescript. This will use the two Next.js handler in here imported from the better-auth Next.js adapter, which will basically export both a post and a get request handlers that will handle every request for your authentication flow. And that's pretty much all you need to do from the API and the backend side. And the last piece is the authentication client. So you add an auth-client.typescript in here that will go ahead and create an auth client from the better-auth React in here, or whatever adapter you're using, and it will simply go ahead and import for you an auth client. This client in here will be used from the front end to call the backend API securely and access all the features from email passwords to OAuth, all the other stuff. Now, for integrating the part with your UI in here, like the sign-in form or the sign-up form, you simply go back and import the auth client inside of your sign-in form and use, for example, the sign-up adapter in here, then access the email, passing in the name, email, and password to sign up a new user. And for sign-in, basically the same thing. You call signin.email and pass in email and password. And that's pretty much all you need to do to call and make sure the user is signed up or signed in properly. And of course, you need to handle all the edge cases and the UI related stuff by yourself to make sure the user has a smooth experience. So if we go back to our application in here and try out the sign up, for example, we've got demo user, demo.example.com, and a test password. We go ahead and create an account. Account is created, it auto signs us in. You can disable that, of course, if you want the user to explicitly go back and sign in, but the entire thing in here works. And if you sign out again, go to sign in, add the credentials that we just used for sign up, continue with the email, and boom, it works flawlessly as well. Now, email passwords are classic and great, but users prefer to use their existing accounts like Google or GitHub or other providers to sign in right into your application. And usually for adding support for these OAuth providers, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And there are a lot of configuration to worry about as well. But with better-auth, it is very, very simple. So you simply go ahead and add social providers entry here inside of your config, and you can add any social OAuth provider that you want, like Google, GitHub, and many, many more. And as simple as that, you just include the client ID and the client secrets, which of course you obtain from the dashboards of those providers. For instance, for the Google OAuth, you get it from the Google Cloud Console in here, where you create your auth client ID and application, and you add like a URI and a difference, which will give you the client ID and the client secrets, and you continue the rest of the setup. Same thing for GitHub, where you add it under settings, developer settings, OAuth applications, and you create your new OAuth app. Of course, you still need to manage the environment variables and the callback URLs and all of that regarding OAuth, but you don't have to worry about how secure the OAuth implementation is or how to implement and figure out sign up and sign in. Once you add it to your config in here, you can simply go ahead and use the auth client, access the sign-in social, and pass in it the provider you're looking to use with the callback URL that the user is going to be redirected back to once they have successfully been authorized. Of course, it's going to be either Google, GitHub, Apple, or any social provider that you want to use for OAuth. And as simple as that, if we go back to our sign-in page in here and do, for example, continue with Google, it's going to use our Google account email and just sign us in right away. And the same thing, of course, with GitHub. Okay, OAuth is wired, we've got email password working fine, but the authentication flow is still missing where to reliably store the data. And that's where the database integration comes into play. better-auth in here supports many databases like Postgres, SQLite, MySQL, including many ORMs as well like Drizzle, Prisma, and MongoDB. For us, we chose the beloved PostgreSQL with Drizzle ORM. And the installation is very simple. You just simply run npm install better-auth Drizzle adapter to install the Drizzle adapter, then include it inside of your configuration. So it is as simple as defining the database config in here inside of your better-auth config, setting it to equal to the Drizzle adapter, passing it the database instance that you already created using the Drizzle client in here, and including the provider as well. So it could be Postgres, MySQL, or SQLite. And finally, passing it your database schema, which is of course going to look something like this, which will basically tell better-auth what is your users table and the sessions table and the different tables that it needs for the auth flow. The schema, of course, can be generated using the better-auth CLI using npx auth latest generate, which will go ahead and generate a schema for you. And then you simply just go ahead and apply the migrations using your Drizzle kit CLI in here to make sure that your database is ready to be used for the authentication setup. And after setting up that, now your database is ready. If you go to your database in here, you're going to see that you've got all the tables with all the data required for the authentication. For example, we've got inside of our database in here, 2 users like the demo user and my other personal account in here. We've got also different accounts that are logged in for either using like Google OAuth or simple email and password credentials. Same thing goes for like Passkeys, the different sessions for different users, subscriptions in here for your Stripe subscriptions, and the verification process if you've got 2-step verification enabled or something similar. The core auth flow works, but paying applications need authentication and billing to agree on who the customer is. If someone signs up, you may want a Stripe customer. If they upgrade, you want that subscription to be tied to your authenticated user as well. better-auth allows you to do this using the beloved Stripe plugin in here, which has so many features including creating Stripe customers automatically when users sign up, manage subscription plans and pricing, and process subscription lifecycle events like creation, updates, and cancellations. And it also handles the most boring part of subscriptions in Stripe, which are the webhooks securely with signature verification as well. And for adding inside of your configuration, you just go in and create the Stripe client that you need in here with your Stripe secret key in here and simply pass that plugin into the plugins array. Of course, there is plenty of config that you could do inside of Stripe, passing the clients in here, the webhook secrets, and if you want to create new customers on sign up, which is an amazing feature. And you can also tie it up to a subscription that you already got inside of your Stripe dashboard. For example, we've got this Pro subscription with this price ID in here. So when users upgrade their account to the Pro subscription, it will immediately reflect inside of their authenticated user account, which what makes better-auth so delightful to use. And you also need to make sure you add the same configuration inside of your create auth client in here for your auth client so you could access it from your front end as well. And now for upgrading, we simply use authclient.subscription.upgrade and passing it your subscription plan, for example, the successful URL and the cancel URL. And that's it. Now it will take care of everything for you from subscribing or upgrading the user's account to the Pro subscription, success redirection, and as well as making sure your authenticated user account is fully in sync with your Stripe dashboard. So if I sign inside of my dashboard, go to pricing and go to upgrade to pro in here. And once I put all my credentials, I can go ahead and click on subscribe to subscribe my user account to the pro plan. And once it takes me back to my dashboard, now I can clearly see that I'm on the pro plan. Now there are two big auth features that end users absolutely love, but they are sometimes a little bit tedious to implement. The first one is Passkeys, and the other one is the last used login method. And luckily for us, better-auth allows us to add both of these two features in a very easy way using their plugin system. They have plenty of plugins, including the passkey, the phone number, the two-factor authentication. There are many stuff, but what we care about right now are the passkeys. And if you scroll down a little bit in here, you're going to find the last login method as well. For last login method, it's very simple. You just simply install the plugin, you plug it in and add it to your plugins config, and that's it. That's all you need to do. So first, for the last login method in here, you just go and install the plugin and you add it to your plugins config in here with making sure that you store that preference inside of the database with stored in database equals to true. And you do the same thing for the auth client in here, passing it the last login method. And last but not least, inside of your UI component in here, you just get the last method using the auth client get last used login method. And that's it. Now you've got the last login method working. And it looks something like this. So if you log in using Google in here the last time and you come back to this after like a few days or weeks after you've logged in and you barely remember which login method you've used in the past, the UI is just going to magically tell you that, oh, you've used the Google OAuth. Okay, now passkeys. Passkeys are a little bit more complicated to implement, especially if you start from scratch. There are a lot of security measures and things to keep in mind while implementing passkeys. But with better-auth, it's another plugin. Simply just go ahead and install better-auth passkey plugin in here and put it in the configuration and we're ready to go. Of course, this will need as well like migrating the database and adding the clients in here and imagine a little bit of configuration here and there, but it's a lot simpler than just doing it by yourself. So once you've installed the plugin, just go ahead and add inside of your passkey array in here, including a unique identifier, a unique name, and the authenticator selection config. There is other config that you could do as well if you just want to go a little bit deeper. And you do the same thing in here for the auth client, making sure that you add your passkey client. And after that, inside of your front-end code, so whether you are allowing the user to add a new passkey, like register a new passkey, so you simply use auth passkey, add passkey, and give it a name, and that would just like set up the entire passkey for you with a single line of code. Or if the user is logging in using a passkey, so you do the same thing, auth client, sign in, passkey, then just, for example, you want to redirect the user after they have successfully signed in using their passkey. And that's it. That's pretty much all you need to do. Okay, let's go ahead and try out passkeys. So first, I'm going to log in using my Google account, and quickly from the dashboard in here, I'm going to add a new passkey inside of my account. I'm going to do add Apple passkey. It's going to prompt me with this save passkey thing using my Touch ID. There are many softwares for passkeys, but I prefer the Apple ones. And I'm just going to use my Touch ID in here to add a passkey. Boom, that's done. Good. New app passkey in here has been added. Now, if I go ahead and sign out right now, I'm going to do continue with passkey so I can sign in with my passkey. Same thing, I get prompted with my Touch ID and her password. I'm going to use the Touch ID real quick. Done. It should go ahead and sign me in right into my dashboard. And that was a single line of code passkey setup. Okay, so this has been how to add authentication right into your application, easiest way possible with better-auth. By the way, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.